Welcome to Wednesday, December 6, 2023. This Day Weather Podcast brought to you by Hot Springs County Travel and Tourism, reminding you that as temperatures get colder and snow is on the horizon at Thermopolis, you can always find yourself in hot water. Well, it's going to be another mild day today, and yesterday was nice in the sense that many areas saw less wind and warmer temperatures and a good amount of sunshine. That's really how most of today will go. The exception will be the far Pacific Northwest and northern areas that will start to feel the effects of a two-part storm system that'll be coming our way as we head into the end of the week and into the weekend. As we mentioned earlier in the week, it's disorganized, it's fragmented, so it's not going to be able to maintain itself into one consolidated storm, but it's going to kind of come through pieces, which makes things a little bit tricky and changeable in terms of the weather across the western United States for the next 4 days or so. First of all, the first wave will bring the Pacific Northwest and the northern areas of the Rockies and the northern plains will be getting the best chance for snow and colder temperatures starting late tonight through late Thursday. As these systems move through, I'm afraid to say we're going to have some episodes of high winds, especially the usual high wind areas of southern and central Wyoming. We're going to have two wind events as these systems come through. We'll show you when that'll happen and where. Then the southern system is going to take more of a southerly route. And there's going to be some areas of snow for parts of Colorado, parts of Wyoming, parts of the Wasatch Front of Utah, and even areas of western Kansas could get into a little bit of light snow. Great shot here of some rare clouds. Thanks, Marshall, for sending this in. Now, I'll say this quickly 10 times. These are called supercilium clouds. They don't happen very often, but they do happen when the winds aloft are very strong in complex terrain, which complex terrain basically just means in mountainous terrain areas. You're going to sometimes see these. There's very turbulent flow with the winds as they come off the mountain ranges in this situation. Thanks, Marshall, for sending that in. You don't see those clouds very often. The satellite imagery this morning shows a busy Pacific Ocean with that pipeline of moisture continuing to feed heavy rains into Washington and Oregon. Then that moisture is going up and around the high pressure ridge that is overhead right now across the Great Basin and Rockies. But that ridge is going to be able to hold for one more day. Then it's going to falter and break down. So you can see the low out here off the Pacific coast. We have that funneling of moisture right into the Pacific Northwest. But all of this area right here begins to move on in against the high. Now, this is through Friday morning. So I'm going to break this into two parts. The first system that takes more of a northerly route brings that rain to the Pacific Northwest. Then what's left of the moisture comes up and over and takes a route to the north. We're going to see some snows over southern Canada. We're going to see snows up into the Bighorns, the Yellowstone Plateau, Jackson, the western areas of Wyoming, the northern Wasatch. You're going to get some areas of rain in the valleys and snow in the valleys and mountain snow as that system comes through, even getting a little bit of moisture here into the mountains of central Colorado. Most of this is going to come from late tonight through tomorrow and tomorrow night into Friday morning, and there's where you're going to see the snow falling with this first wave. But there's going to be a lot of wind. Very strong winds will be developing overnight tonight and into Thursday morning along and near the Continental Divide and across central, eastern, and southern areas of Wyoming into northern Colorado there, but even windy down along I-25 all the way south into New Mexico. Windy, too, as well in parts of northwestern areas of Montana as that first system moves by. Here comes system number two. That first low gets more organized up north, and the other piece of that low goes across Utah. Then it goes into Colorado during the day Friday into Friday night. Now, this complicates things because basically you're having these two lows fighting for resources, fighting for available moisture and the colder air associated with these lows. So you tend to have a little bit of a gap between them in terms of where the precipitation will fall. So with this second low coming on through, taking more of a southerly route, this is where the better moisture is going to fall, right here. So folks in Colorado, you'll kind of need to keep an eye on this. This is one of these sneaky little systems that can come on in and produce more weather than forecasted. So you can see the Colorado high country, good news for the ski areas, is going to get some snow as that low comes through. But also notice there is the potential for the I-25 corridor to get a little bit of snow out of this, out on into the eastern plains of Colorado, and maybe into even areas of western Kansas. So this second area right here will also get back into the Wasatch a bit and even into northeastern areas of New Mexico. This is mainly going to be Friday into early Saturday. And that's where the second wave's snowfall is likely going to be. So folks in Colorado, that second system will need to keep an eye on. Then as we get into Sunday, all of that quickly moves off to the east into the Great Lakes, and this will end up becoming probably a pretty big weather maker for the northeastern United States later this weekend and into Monday. Strong northwest winds aloft come in on the backside of the system, so we know what that means. Strong northwest winds aloft will put snow showers into the mountains, and unfortunately, here we go again. Another wind event. Late Saturday into early Sunday, it gets very windy in those same areas underneath those strong jet stream winds. Just a typical winter weather pattern, really, where we have alternating periods of high winds, some fluctuating temperatures, and these systems coming through. Now, by next week, this is by noon on Tuesday, we'll have another low kind of wanting to dig in and maybe dragging some colder Canadian air into the Rockies and Northern Plains in that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday timeframe of next week. So there's likely a break in the weather Monday and Tuesday. Then the middle to the end of next week will bring the next episode of colder weather. But a lot of question marks, a lot of deviation in the modeling once we get to the middle of next week on what exactly will transpire. So going past Tuesday going to be a tricky proposition, other than to tell you that the weather pattern is going to stay active as we're definitely transitioning into winter weather, a winter weather pattern across the northern hemisphere. Have yourself a good Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow.